then people are going to do everything they can to skirt the existing rules. And then when they get caught, they either say, we didn't know, or no, we didn't actually do that. You're just dreaming.
Greetings and salutations and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I am your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and on today's Wind Up Wednesday edition, Clippers apparently caught cheating. Is it the Hall of Fame or Hall of Very Good? We'll have that annual conversation now. And Angel Reese, is she talking too much? We'll discuss that. With us today, our international correspondent, Francois, and our favorite administrator, Robert Abney. So let's jump in. Robert, cheaters never prosper and prosperous never cheat, or that's something they told us when we were little kids. The Los Angeles Clippers have allegedly engaged in salary cap circumvention with star forward Kawhi Leonard, according to Pablo Torre. And I guess we still have investigative journalism because for some time I think that's been on the back burner. So apparently there's a company called Aspiration or something like that. And Steve Ballmer, the owner of the Clippers, did an introduction to Kawhi Leonard and the company. And according to Steve Ballmer, we didn't have anything to do with anything other than the introduction. Some people say yes, some people say no. I just want to make sure our audience know that people have been circumventing the NBA salary cap since they've had the cap. Players such as Chris Dudley, Joe Smith, and others. Even the legendary Michael Jordan almost bootlegged with the New York Knicks, apparently. So, Robert, when you see something like this, what are your initial thoughts?
The only surprise I have is that this is the first time somebody's been caught doing this. I can't imagine that this is the only time this has ever happened. I mean, and the only reason we found out is because they got caught. I can't imagine that there aren't other situations where people are endorsing things or being paid to sit on a company's board or the board of a nonprofit or something like. I can't imagine this is the first time this has ever happened, and that nobody else is doing this. I don't believe that for a second.
So Francois, when you see something like this, because your primary experience is the European leagues, what are your thoughts when you read the Clippers allegedly tried to pay their player more money than allocated? Again, all allegations that are interesting. But from your perspective as our international correspondent, when you read this, what comes across your mind?
It's a different by the NBA and European basketball about the salary cap. In European basketball, we don't have salary cap, so you can pay player whatever you want. And I think the big deal now is in NBA, you have this salary cap, and some team has more money to pay the player. They want to find other solution to pay without paying those luxury tax. And like Robert said, I agree with him. It is very surprising that it is the first time that we see. But I think it's not the first time. It happened many, many, many times, and just now, we have the for Kawhi, he's the one everybody see. But I think this luxury tax make player want to be paid more and team finding more solution to get player paid. But it's like that, and I think NBA can do a better job to maybe go inside find there's more thing to find about that, and there's something that can be done to make sure that player can be paid as well they have the NBA to be well, and not use those type of company to pay player more.
Yeah,
Well, what's
go ahead.
interesting is that the penalty for the salary cap circumvention itself isn't terribly significant. I mean, the Timberwolves did this back when David Stern was the commissioner, and he dropped the hammer and voided the contract and fined him $4.5 million and took like 5 draft picks, and he did all kinds of stuff. And now the penalty is the $4.5 million, and they lose a draft pick, and the contract can be violated. So they're not, but we all know that you do this because you're trying to get around that tax apron so they can keep spending money.
And I want you to have your admin hat on with me, Robert, because when this dropped, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm not outraged because everybody wants free fries. Everybody wants free fries. Everybody wants to make as much money as they can doing the least. I haven't met anyone yet who says, man, I want to do, extra to get whatever. So with the apron, and Charles Barkley spoke about it, teams are cheap too. They've always been cheap, and nobody wants to spend money anyway. So what is the solution? Because you can't legislate everything. Well, what are your thoughts about that? Because that's where I am. Man, people cheat. People try to use the letter of the law, but at some point, what do we do?
Yeah, there is only so much that you can do, and you should not have to legislate everything. But I think it's just kind of the day and age we're in, where if there isn't a rule specifically against it, then people are going to do everything they can to skirt the existing rules. And then when they get caught, they either say, we didn't know, or no, we didn't actually do that, you're just dreaming. So
and the Clippers still stink anyway. So with all of the cheating, you're nowhere closer to winning a championship than you and I am in the backcourt.
Right. Kawhi's a good player. You might want to cheat to get somebody else. I don't know.
Yeah, and I'm not bad at Kawhi. Kawhi's in that Kirk Cousins category with me in terms of beating the system.
No, get paid. We say it all the time. Get your bag. Get your bag. And he got his bag, and that's fine.
And Stephen A., I got to say this before we close out this segment. Stephen A. just made some disparaging remarks about Kawhi and that brother don't work or whatever. Man, whatever he's doing, he has generational wealth. So kudos to Kawhi. And in segment 2, we're going to have that Hall of Fame conversation. I hope Robert and Francois can help me because I'm still having some mixed feelings about the Hall of Fame. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches Podcast. Hi, everyone. Dr. Keith Adams here. And for over 30 years, I've dedicated my life to helping student athletes succeed, not just on the fields and the courts, but in the classroom and beyond. And that's why I founded the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project understands that finding the balance between academics and athletics is crucial for long-term success. That's why the CKA Save Project offers a range of programs, including personalized consulting, mentorship, and coming in 2027, our innovative Gap Year Basketball Academy designed to assist both young men and women reach their full potential both on and off the court. I'm incredibly excited to announce that the CKA Save Project is now partnering with the Cascade Sports Network. This partnership will allow us the opportunity to amplify our message and reach even more student athletes through the Odd Coaches Podcast and other exciting initiatives. Join the CKA Save Project and the Cascade Sports Network as we empower the next generation of student athletes. Visit CKA on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org to learn more. Let's work together to find the balance and help unlock your potential. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches Podcast in segment 2. The Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame welcomed its newest members this past weekend. And this is a no bum conversation. I have to always start with that. All of these players are accomplished and everything, but a few years ago when they had the NBA top 75 list, my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, and I went through every player, and we had a lot of spirited conversations. And this year, Carmelo Anthony went in, Dwight Howard went in, as well as Sue Bird, Sylvia Fowles, and Maya Moore. With the WNBA players, there was no doubt I had no issue with any of them. Carmelo had a great freshman year at Syracuse, won a national championship, and had a very good NBA career, 10-time All-Star. I believe he's the all-time leading scorer in U.S. Team USA basketball Olympic history. Dwight Howard came out like gangbusters. I actually had a chance to watch him play in high school. He was a senior the same year I coached the regional game of the Jordan Capital Classic. But Robert, they're kind of stat guys to me and not winners, and they I don't know. Any thoughts about Carmelo and Dwight, first ballot Hall of Fame guys? What do you think?
First ballot? I I don't know. I don't and never have loved either of these guys. As you said, I think that winning championships is part of a Hall of Fame resume. That doesn't mean you have to win championships, but I think if you don't win championships, then I mean your resume should be eye-popping. And to me, neither of these guys have an eye-popping resume. I don't pay a whole lot of attention to Hall of Fames anyway, because it tends to be the opinions of some people.
Who was nice to the writers.
Yes, it's the opinion of some people. And so I don't put a whole lot of stock in Halls of Fame, but I don't love either selection. But neither am I going to lose any sleep over the fact that Dwight Howard is in the Hall of Fame.
All right. Francois, I love that we have you. You give us an international perspective. What are your thoughts on Carmelo Anthony and Dwight Howard, just as players over the course of their careers? What are your thoughts?
When you talk about Carmelo Anthony, he's the best scorer of the Olympic, not for just for Team USA, but for all the Olympic. He won 3 Olympic as a captain. I guess he never won an NBA championship, but for when we talk about international basketball, Carmelo Anthony is one of the most dominant. He and Dwight Howard was also part of the Redeem team in 2008. So I'm not mad to see them because, by the way, they didn't win NBA championship, but they did. They won, international Olympic game. They won, in World Cup championship. They had not just on the court, but a lot of impact about NBA and international basketball. When I think about Dwight Howard, he was the next Shaquille O'Neal. He was very dominant when he was playing with Orlando. So he brings this team in NBA final. I remind myself, it was in 2009. They lost against the Lakers, and Carmelo did the same with the Nuggets. He bring this team to the NBA conference final, but they didn't win because they were a great player in front of them. But I'm not mad to see them in the Hall of Fame, and I think
Oh.
they have they have to have a better basketball in NBA, also international.
Yeah, and again, we started this with it's a no bum conversation. Carmelo Anthony is a 10-time All-Star, 6-time All-NBA. He is on the NBA 75th anniversary team. He did it in college, professional, Olympics. So, yes, that is a Hall of Fame worthy resume. And Dwight Howard, he was number one pick. He was the
Mm,
only player in NBA history to win Defensive Player of the Year 3 consecutive times, 8-time All Star, 8-time All NBA,
mm,
rebounding champion 5 times. This is a no bum conversation. But on the flip side, when you see Maya Moore in 8 years, she was a 4-time WNBA champion, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 2-time NCAA champion, 2-time EuroLeague champion, WNBA MVP, Finals MVP,
right.
6-time All Star, Rookie of the Year, 20th anniversary team, 25th anniversary team. Sue Bird, she's won championships in 3 different decades and played 21 seasons. And Sylvia Fowles was only one of 2 players in WNBA history to win Defensive Player of the Year 4 times or more. So that kind of that's a
Yeah,
Hall of Fame, and there's no. I'm not thinking.
yeah. Again, I'm not going to lose any sleep about it. But I mean, when I think about Dwight Howard, I always felt like if you got him more than 6 feet from the basket, he couldn't score. And he was always a mediocre free throw shooter at best.
Uh,
And
uh,
yeah, and I
Again, no bums.
yeah, no bums, and congratulations.
But the last thing, and we'll go to our next segment. And again, I appreciate having the conversation out loud. When I'm thinking of all-time small forwards, we would consider Carmelo a small forward. When do you get to him on your list of picking? And then in terms of centers, man, I'm going to wait a while before I get to let me grab Dwight Howard. And that's not a bad thing. That just means I've watched a lot of basketball a lot of times over my years. So, man, yeah, I appreciate that. So, in segment 3, we're going to talk about the WNBA, get ready for the playoffs. And also, Francois is going to give us some information about the Euro basket. He's going to close the show with a little knowledge on that. Be right back on the Odd Coaches podcast. Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Keith Adams, and for years, I've witnessed the struggles student athletes face on how to truly balance the demands of academics and athletics. It's a question that I have dedicated my life to answering. That's why I wrote Finding the Balance, my personal journey to academic and athletic success. It's more than just a book. It is my personal journey, and it is filled with hard-earned lessons from decades as a coach, educator, and now president of the CKA Safe Project. Inside, you will find practical advice, real-life stories, and a clear roadmap to help student athletes, coaches, and parents navigate the complex world of balancing sports and education. And now I am thrilled to bring this message to a wider audience as a proud member of the Cascade Sports Network. We're partnering to amplify these crucial conversations about student athlete success. I believe every student athlete deserves the opportunity to reach their full potential, both on and off the court and the field. You can purchase your copy directly from our website at www.ckasafeproject.org. Join me and the Cascade Sports Network as we work together to help every student athlete succeed. Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast in segment 3. We have reached the end of the WNBA season. The regular season ends September 11th, and the playoffs begin September 14th. So a week from today, we'll have the matchups, and we'll have our previews of the postseason. But the Lynx have been the best all year. Love the Atlanta Dream. They got a new coach, new system that we talked about and had a lot of success. The Las Vegas Aces are hot, hot, hot. kudos to the Golden State Valkyries for their first year success. They have booked an incredible team. The Indiana Fever must listen to the show because they shut down Caitlin Clark. And we'll see what happens. But our story of the week is Angel Reese. One, we're not mad at Angel Reese. And Robert, I don't know if it was a week or two ago, was like, hey, can y'all calm down on Angel Reese? She's learning how to do this. And Chicago as an organization has not run this very well. They got rid of probably the best coach for dominant post players because Chicago has some really good posts, and Teresa Witherspoon, and how that worked out for you. But two-time WNBA All-Star Angel Reese apologized to her teammates for some remarks she said that she probably shouldn't have said. So, Robert, we're in public education. What are your thoughts on Angel Reese and the recent controversy and the walking back of some of the comments she said and the lack of management from Chicago in terms of just, hey, what do we do? What are you thinking, sir?
Well, I mean, first of all, she said what all athletes say when they get called out for stuff I think, I think the language was taken out of context. No, it wasn't. You said what you said, and, rightfully that caused a stir, right? And as a reminder, what she said was, let's say this, okay? She said she might have to move in a different direction and do what's best for me if the team didn't improve its talent level for the future. You can feel that way. That's fine. You don't say that in public. And hopefully what happened was the Sky pulled her in and ripped her one for saying that stuff in public. And hopefully when she apologized to her teammates ripped her one for publicly denigrating their efforts. Because if you're a good teammate, you don't do that. Now, has Angel Reese ever been taught how to be a good teammate? I don't know. But this is an opportunity. Hopefully they treat it as one. Thus far, given what they've demonstrated over the past 2 years with Angel Reese, my guess is that's not going to happen.
Yeah. So Francois, I've been waiting for this one because Francois is a current coach, doing a great job in France. Francois, you are the coach. This situation occurred. One of your best players spouted off in the media about how bad her teammates are. And then somebody got to her and walked it back. As a coach, you now have to begin prepping not only for the end of the season, but the off season because you're not going to be in the postseason. How are you dealing with it?
This is a very big situation. And, when you are in this type of situation, I think, on my point of view, is you have to have a brutal and honest face-to-face conversation with Angel Reese. But I think with all the team, okay, so you say that the team is bad. What are your thoughts? What can we do together to make the team better? What can we do to go to a better direction? And I think it's a brutal and honest face-to-face conversation. But I mean, I think Angel Reese, as a player, should be more focused on, on basketball, and she's a little bit more focused right now on extra basket. And I think that the coaching staff, but also the organization, has to do a better job to make her in this situation. I was seeing something about Michael Beasley, and he said, I saw that he said one of the reason he never become a great player, he was second on the draft. He went to Miami. He was supposed to be a big, great player, but Pat Riley was putting a person near his home to make sure he never go outside at some late time and make sure he focus on basketball. And he never accept that, but he now say, man, I did a mistake. And I think that, we have to make sure that Angel Reese get accountable on his growth, but also the growth of the team. She has to understand that, if she want to be a great player, She has to help the team to be better. She teammate to be better. The organization and not just go to the interview and say, "Oh, the team is not good," blah blah blah, blah. And that's not how great player thinks.
Yeah. One of the things I had the opportunity to do when I was a young coach, and I don't mind sharing. This is my first year coaching, literally my first 2 weeks of coaching, and I actually coached summer league. So this is what we're talking about, fans. Summer basketball is it's just some stuff we do, but we make it out to be more than it is. And I actually coached against DeMatha, where my son goes. DeMatha is one of the greatest basketball high schools. Morgan Wooten's a legendary coach, all of that. And we're talking about summer league. So not even all of the players are there. And we're playing. And we almost won the game. And a reporter happened to be covering a summer league game, Robert. Go figure. And I had the audacity as a first week coach, not even first year coach, to say the math is a team in name only. And once you get past the name, blah, 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 whatever, whatever. And it came out in the newspaper. And my high school coach, Hank Galata, rest his soul, I miss that guy, called me in the office and said, "Who do you think you are? You've been coaching a half an hour and you got the audacity." But again, as you said, has anybody even had that conversation with Angel Reese? In that same week, Kevin McNutt, whose daughter Monica McNutt is all over ESPN, and we're rooting like heck for Monica with that great Georgetown education. He was refereeing my first couple of games, and I'm just foul here, do this, just like I was playing. And he took the time to say, "Hey, come here, son. You got a good guard. I would worry about him. Or if you have a good post, I'd worry about him. But if you think you're going to talk to us all game, yeah, that's not going to work, kid." And I'm so grateful that my head coach took time to teach me how this works, and that an official who didn't have to do anything took time to say, "Hey, here's how it works." So, Angel, I hope you take this opportunity to pause because you're doing too much right now. And we need to just slow down, because do we like what basketball brings us, or do we love basketball just itself? So, with that, we've got the finals coming up of Eurobasket. Final Sweet 16 we're in. Francois, can you give our audience some insight before we close on what's going on in Eurobasket?
Yeah, really quick. Serbia was the favorite team. They lose yesterday against Finland. Finland has Lohi Markkanen, 29 points. It was great. Jokic put 33 points. But that's crazy. Serbia has it. Serbia this year was like Team USA going to Olympic. Everybody know they're going to win. But, think about that. It's very difficult to win when you are the best team. And look at all the league we go on, NBA, NCAA, high school. When you are the best team, you have to get accountable each player, and you have to make sure you ready every time. And that's why Serbia lost yesterday in 6-16 against Finland, because there were no dog mentality. And now everything can win this Eurobasket. And yesterday again, Germany win 85-58 against Portugal, again in Sweet 16. Germany with Dennis Schroeder, Frank Warner, playing the Orlando Magic. They now are the favorite team. So we're gonna see how they're gonna handle this next game tomorrow in the quarterfinal. Turkey with Alfred Sengun, very good too. They won Serbia in 3 days ago, and now they won yesterday Sweden, 85-79. Lithuania too with Jonat Valanciunas won yesterday. Again, Lithuania with of Porzingis and Bertan, so they're gonna play quarterfinal today. Poland won against Bosnia. And France is playing right now against Georgia. You have to know that Alexandre Sarr has an injury, so he's not.
Whoa, he plays
Yeah,
for the Wizards. We
yes,
can't have
yes,
injuries.
yes. So he's
So who
not
do you
playing
think's going to
anymore.
win? Who do you think's going to win the whole tournament as we wrap up?
Very difficult to say, but I think Germany is the best team. Germany or Turkey, they are
All
the best.
right, good enough. Robert, anything you'd like to add before we close about anything going on in the world of basketball this week?
No, I thank you for doing that, Francois, because that that was cool. And there are a lot of guys I didn't realize, oh, that's who they play for internationally. So I appreciate that. That's good stuff.
All right. Hey, hopefully we can get FD on next week to do a whole recap of everything because the championship will hopefully take place before we tape. But that was awesome, and I appreciate that as well. So on behalf of our cavalcade of stars, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast, and we'll see you on the sidelines. Until next time, take care, and shout out to our friends at the Cascade Sports Network.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.